Why do you think?
Coming.
get started. Welcome to April's regular board meeting. Please rise for the pledge and remain standing. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next thing we have on the agenda is a sad moment of silence for Patricia Sabatini, who was a 5th grade teacher at Duncan. 5th grade. Yep. Just student.
I think Ed and Mrs. Spivey wants to say something.
Thank you. So tonight we remember and honor a remarkable teacher whose presence left an indelible mark on our school and in the hearts of so many. Ms. Pat Sabatini was nominated Teacher of the Year and a National Award-winning educator in science and mathematics, recognition that only begins to reflect the depth of her impact. Pat once shared with me a story about her first principal, someone who loved spending time in her classroom. I understood that feeling deeply because I, too, loved every moment I spent in her classroom. Her classroom was a place where learning came alive. She had a rare gift for making everyone feel seen, valued, and inspired. Pat brought out the inner child in all of us. She sparked curiosity, encouraged discovery, and radiated the pure joy of teaching. Her lessons were creative and highly engaging, and her passion for education was infectious. Students adored her, parents respected her, and colleagues, including myself, were inspired by her every single day. She will be deeply missed by our school community and by all who knew her. But her legacy, the joy she brought to learning, and the lives she touched will continue to live on in our halls, in our classrooms, and in our hearts. Her legacy lives on in every life that she touched, with care, with joy, with an unshakable belief in the power of education. With heartfelt gratitude, Mary Sue Feige and the Seymour Public Schools. Pat, we will miss you.
Well, yeah. I was fortunate enough also to supervise Mrs. Sabatini, and I found her to be an excellent, efficient teacher. We're going to sorely miss her.
All right, thank you. Item C, introduction. So we'll just go around the table. Chris Champagne, board chair. I'll go down to my right.
Kristen Bruno, board vice chair.
Jay Hatfield, board member.
Gloria Nescoli, board member.
Pete Kubik, board member.
Caitlin Hamilton, senior board student representative.
Jeremy Tomaszewski, junior board representative.
Shannon Levy, board clerk.
Dr. Susan Compton, school superintendent. I'd also like to recognize our first select woman in the audience tonight, first select woman Anne Marie Paganis.
Ed Stamol, board member.
Stefan Mahuniak, board secretary.
Okay, item 2, board administrative communications. First thing up is the Bungate Building Committee, which I believe passed the Board of Selectmen last week. And both Mr. Puvik and Mr. Schmello are on that. If you have anything,
No, as you indicated, Board of Select persons voted on it, and it passed. So this now allows the architects to submit, and the town to submit the appropriate documentation to the state of Connecticut and prepare for a referendum on the project in, I think it was set at October 9th, if I'm not mistaken. So it's moving in the right direction. That's for a new school, a new Bungay school, and elimination of the old Bungay school as it stands right now.
all right, item B, as we do every month, we have the champion recognitions, and this month is for Optimistic, and we have Bungay School up first.
All right, so we have 2 champions for Bungay School for Optimistic. The first student we want to recognize is Sophie Navarre. Come on up, Sophie. So Sophie is recognized by Mr. Cummings for her optimism in the classroom, for her hard work, and I'm going to let Mr. Cummings talk a little bit more about it.
Sure. I nominated Sophie. She is so deserving of Student of the Month and Seymour Champion because she truly lives up to all the traits within the champion's motto, especially this month's optimistic. Sophie shows up to school with a huge, warm, welcoming smile each and every day. She attacks problems with a positive attitude and is always putting forth her best effort in all that she does. She is responsible, respectful, and hardworking. Stay motivated, keep smiling, Sophie. You have such a bright future ahead of you.
That's right. And then come over here, Mr. Cummings. You come in.
Mrs. Reed, have the parents come up.
Parents. They're the next. They're the next picture. It's like a wedding. There's like a order Congratulations. So our next student to come up for optimism is Ainsley Ricard. Come on up, Ainsley. So Ainsley was nominated by Mrs. Searles, and Ainsley always has a smile on her face. In the hallway, in the classroom, she is willing to help others achieve their goals, and she strives to improve herself and reach her goals as well. Each time she's working on her sight words, she strives to add more words to her list of known words, working hard each and every day, whether it's in the classroom or with Miss Searles. Ainsley is a pleasure to work with. She's optimistic, and she spreads that to all those around her. So congratulations, Ainsley. Open it up for a picture so that you can see all of it there. Brother here,
No, sir.
For Chapter of Presty School, we have two to present tonight. One could not make it, but I do still want to read about Hala. Hala Popelzai is in Mrs. Otto's classroom, and she, as I read Mrs. Otto's words, is one of the happiest students I've ever had the pleasure of teaching. She comes to school each day with a huge smile on her face. She enthusiastically greets many students on their way into the building, even those that she doesn't know. During classroom instruction time, she can be heard cheering for her classmates as they participate in lessons. She's friendly to everyone. She never displays negativity and is one of the most positive children you could ever meet. Hawa is a constant ray of sunshine in our room, and I'll just add on, for our school. And we look forward to working with her each day. Hawa is a true example of optimism. So a round of applause for Hawa. Our next Seymour champion for the month is Jace Northrop. So come on up, Jace. Jace was such a great nominee. He was actually nominated by two different staff members, Mrs. McCaslin and Mrs. Cunningham. So they're going to share what they have to say about Jace.
Come here, buddy. All right, so I am Jace's classroom teacher for 5th grade. I'm Mrs. Cunningham. Jace is truly, like I had said to Mom, you will see him walking down the hallway, one of the happiest, most optimistic people you will ever meet. Middle school, you are very, very lucky to have him next year. Anytime you see Jace, he welcomes you with a bright smile and is very chipper hello. He is always very well-mannered, always greeting staff members he sees on his way in and on his way out. He arrives in our classroom door each morning with the friendliest greeting. He's a great partner to work with as he encourages his classmates to always do their best. He's often willing to participate in class and share his thinking. Even if Jace isn't fully correct when giving answers, he never gets discouraged and always finds ways to be positive about it. He genuinely cares about others and naturally finds ways to include others in partnerships or in any activity. Jace's optimistic attitude is truly his greatest asset. And we go ahead, Mrs. Allen.
So we had no idea that we each had nominated Jace until after we did that, which was really exciting. So I'm Mrs. McCaslin. I'm a second grade teacher here at Chatfield-Lepresti School, and I have had the pleasure of Jace working with my class through our buddy program. So, meeting Jace for the very first time when you joined Chatfield-Lepresti School when you were in third grade, you missed me completely, but I got to know him through Mrs. DeAngelis and stopping in her room. Every time I would stop by, he would go out of his way to greet me with a big smile and ask me how I was doing. He always oozes happiness, always. He made me feel welcome and optimistic just by being in his space. Now that he's in 5th grade, I have the pleasure of spending more time with him. Mrs. Cunningham's class is our buddy class, and we do many things together. Jace is enthusiastic about whatever we are doing, but the real reason I'm nominating Jace is because of the strength of his character while he's with my class. Jace was paired with one of the girls in my class who was less than enthusiastic about being matched with a boy. Jace jumped right in and showed his enthusiasm for working with her and brought his usual happiness and made her realize she hit the jackpot with her partner. Jace made her feel special and genuinely enjoyed spending time with her. And then a few weeks into it, another young lady in my class was expressing her disappointment that her partner didn't seem as enthusiastic with her as Jace might have been with his partner. So, feeling like she wasn't so special, Jace stepped right in and made a group of 4 so that that other student could feel special as well. He makes sure to hug her and smile at her and makes her feel over the moon every single time he acknowledges her. So Jace is an incredible role model for our school and how to treat others and how to see the world with joy in your heart. Come up at the front. Come on there. Come over here to your wing. Okay.
Good evening, everybody. It's my honor and my pleasure to speak about 2 students from Seymour Middle School. At this time, I would like to call up Audriana Poulin. I'm proud to recognize Audriana Poulin, who was selected by the 6th grade Purple team for exemplifying this month's theme of being optimistic. Audriana brings a positive outlook to school every day. Whether she's approaching a challenging assignment or collaborating with a classmate, she does so with a can-do attitude and a smile. Her optimism is contagious. It lifts those around her and helps create a classroom environment where others feel encouraged and supported. Her peers enjoy working with her because they know she will not only contribute positively, but also help them see the bright side of any situation. Audriana's ability to remain hopeful and encouraging makes her a role model in our school. Congratulations, Audriana, and thank you for showing us what it means to lead with optimism.
Come couple different.
So the next student that we're going to recognize is not here tonight when I read the comments that we prepared for him. I think everybody will understand why, but if we're talking about honoring somebody for being optimistic, there's nobody that beats Grayson Leondo. Tonight, with deep admiration and respect, we recognize Seymour Middle School 7th grader Grayson Leondo, a truly remarkable young person whose courage and optimism inspires our school and the community on a daily basis. Although Grayson is not able to be with us at Seymour Middle School for the majority of this year, as he has bravely battled leukemia, his strength, resilience, and unwavering spirit are felt every single day at SMS. His name is spoken often, his seat in the classroom is never forgotten, and his presence lives in the hearts of his teachers and his classmates every day. At this time, Grayson is undergoing the process of bone marrow transplant preparation. Despite all that has been thrown his way since October, he has handled every challenge with grace, a smile on his face, and an optimistic spirit unlike anything I have ever seen. Grayson's journey is a powerful reminder of the strength of the human spirit. Through his determination and courage, he teaches us all what it means to face adversity with hope. We look forward with great anticipation to the day when he returns to school full-time. And until then, we will continue to stand with him, cheer for him, and draw strength from his example. We are so proud of you, Grayson. You are a true inspiration to us all.
Peyton McDaniel. Come on up. Mr. Capola, your guidance counselor, nominated you for your optimism. And he wrote, Peyton McDaniel is an outgoing, kind, benevolent young woman who embodies optimism in countless ways. Peyton always says hi in the hallway, which she does to everybody for sure. Goes out of her way to help others and supports her teammates on the basketball court and softball. She also regularly dresses up as the Wildcat mascot at pep rallies and other sporting events. Recently, she suffered a serious ankle injury during her NBL playoff basketball game. While she couldn't play the remainder of the game, she was clearly in pain. She was jumping up and down on the one good foot she had to cheer on her teammates. Peyton McDaniel embodies optimism, and Seymour High School is definitely lucky to have her, and I concur with that statement. She plans on playing college softball at Western New England next year with her older sister, Shane McDaniel.
Okay, up next we have the superintendent recognitions, the first one being the school of distinction for Chatfield. We have a proclamation and a resolution here, one from the board, one from Dr. Compton, that I will not bore you and read, but Dr. Compton, you wanted to say a few words about this?
I would just like to say that this evening is very special. It's not every day that you have, for 2 years in a row, Chatfield-LaPresti has received the honor of being recognized as a school of distinction by the Connecticut Department of Education. What an honor. And guess what? It happens because of you students, the teachers who teach you, and the administration who helps guide you, and the parents and the grandparents' support. So tonight is very special. And we thought that this would be just a great way to celebrate, since the board meeting is here tonight, to bring it home to Chatfield-LaPresti. You may notice when you come into the building last year, Mrs. Feige and I'm very much about banners. I won't talk about my previous past about banners. But banners are important. and there's something that can live on in the school for many years. So there's a banner that says Chatfield Lopresti School of Distinction. Well, we have another banner to present to you tonight. But I would just like to say, again, incredible, exceptional performance areas, you teachers and administration, the guidance, the data analysis, but specifically the teaching in closing the gap. It's been incredible how hard that all grades have worked, you know, and it starts in kindergarten. Actually, it starts a little bit in preschool too, but I won't go into a lot of detail about that. But every teacher who, from kindergarten on up, and even preschool, have made an impact and has helped us tonight be able to present this report to you. Because the hard work, the motivation of doing well on these assessments truly reflect what Chatfield Lopresti can do. So tonight, be proud, because it truly is an honor, okay? We don't have any food to celebrate tonight, but I will be getting something for the staff. Well, maybe we can do ice cream for the kids. We need to truly celebrate that for you as well. I know everybody tells me that Chatfield loves ice cream. Shannon tells me that all the time, and Bungie too. So I just want to say again, we're extremely proud of the entire Chatfield Lopresti staff, our faculty, our staff members, our teachers, our para-educators, everybody who makes this happen. And like I said, without support from the parents, we wouldn't be here tonight. This truly is a celebration. So I just want to say we have a great banner that I would like tonight for our two kids, our two champions from Chatfield to come up, as well as our ambassadors, and then you're going to get recognized ambassadors. I'm going to be bringing a special pin. Our champions get a pin each time. I'm personally coming and going to give you your pin. You're not going to get it tonight, but I want to hand it out specifically to you at school, because this ambassador program has been a very successful program. And those that are active and do it every year, it means a lot to me too. So at this time, I would like for our ambassadors to come up. You're going to hold the banner, and also our our champion award winners. And I would like for our teachers that are here to come up, and our administration. Mr. Electa, okay. Our students, come over here. You're going to hold this banner. We're going to get behind it. Here we go. All right, everybody that's here. I want our teachers and our principal or assistant principal. Okay. Here, let's kind of, make sure we, hang on.
There's too many of us that are short.
Okay, let's rearrange here. Okay. This is a great way to celebrate. No, this is about them tonight. All about them. I'm not getting in any pictures. Okay, this, we got to decide if this is going to go in the gym, where it's going to go. Okay,
Everybody ready? Shift to the right. Go.
and I want you to let the board of ed get finished. I need to see what's starting.
Joan, come back. Joan, come back.
Come back.
Then we get another picture.
Still here.
Smile.
Thank you. The proclamations and the resolution, we're going to have copies for all of the staff as well, okay? Would you turn this around, let the Board of Ed see here? They're paying for the banner, so let's let them. All right. students. Way to go. Very proud. You truly are our champions.
We'd also just like to point out Mr. DeStacy being a part of this also last year as well.
Yes, he was. Is he still here? He was at the earlier meeting. Okay, yes, absolutely. While we're talking about champions, I would be remiss. It was such an honor yesterday afternoon to watch the University of Connecticut Huskies watch the women's team win the national championship. And we had two board members, Jay Hatfield and Ed Stramello, who was able to attend. They also attended the national men's championships in the past, as well as Stefan. But they're big basketball supporters, but it just shows you the state of Connecticut has so much to be proud of. And again, with the men's team, 3 national championships in a row. I mean, I come from Kentucky, and we haven't won one since 2012. I don't know if they're ever going to win another one. But I can tell you, Connecticut has a lot to celebrate. And Mr. Keith O'Rourke has a Kentucky, but the reason he's got a Kentucky one on tonight.
It's for you, Doctor.
I know, but his daughter graduated from the University of Kentucky. It's a small world, and then when he told me, he said, I can't believe this. I have a daughter that's going to school there. So today was college day for the middle school, right?
Yes.
All right. Okay, let's sit down. We're going to recognize our ambassadors. Thank you. Okay. All right.
So does Mr. Electman come out to talk about the ambassadors?
Yes,
Or
as soon as he
he's
gets
got
better. I didn't want it to.
Floor is yours.
The ambassadors, we want to recognize them.
Our CLS Student Ambassadors program began a few years ago, and what they are is our first liaison for greeting guests to CLS. We have them be our brainstorming group for Spirit Days, Spirit Weeks. Even in the summer, coming in and giving tours to families that are going to be new to CLS. And so it, in effect, works as a student council, a student government group. And so they actually apply to become a student ambassador. That the ambassadors that were chosen this year were selected from a group of 60 applicants. And we look to have a combination of 4th and 5th graders because as one group exits, another group carries on, so we can hit the ground running in the fall with everything that we need to do. They do morning announcements and come up with a lot of different ideas. We've heard of the, when we, in the Memorial Day Parade, have marched with the Spirit of Aloha. That came from the that came from the student ambassadors. So we're just very proud of their leadership. We've got some new 4th graders that just joined in, and so we still have a lot to occur. When we operate our school store, they also help run that as well. So I'd like to call them up one at a time to be recognized. Eva Altomare. Heidi Champagne. Carlo Blucott. Josephine Matheson. These are our 4th grade student ambassadors. Now our 5th grade student ambassadors, Frank Adams. Eileen Arslan. Aisha Charles. Penelope Siaka. Boba Sinclair. Jade Spillane. Vivian Motregi. And Evan Welch. Here are your Mr. O'Rourke in the years to come, and Mr. Lucky, your future leaders we hope to contribute down the road. We are very fortunate to have their leadership currently here at CLS. So thank you, students. Want to spread down this way, everybody?
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
All right, and next up, we have our high school student representative report, so we'll turn over to Caitlin and Jeremy.
So we're going to start with National Honor Society. They're hosting a blood drive partner with the Red Cross on April 21st. Student council, they're planning a powder puff game with the whole school, and it's well underway, and they're targeting a April 25th date during school. And students are also helping Mr. Lucky give feedback on our recent NEASC results and a recent survey giving to students about our student body. Our Hope Club, led by David Casanova, Shay Staunton, and Justina Kahn, were docents for the Seymour Historical Society during the 3rd grade field trips from Bungay and Chatfield. And the Hope Club students shared their knowledge of the Seymour history and the founding of the town, the changes in education schools, and how Main Street Seymour has changed through the years with the 3rd graders. Ariel Zedek, Peyton Tilke, and Ali Cavalis helped lead a district-wide Hats for Hope Day for the Tommy Fund Childhood Cancer on March 28th, and their efforts raised over $2,000 for the charity. Hope Club is in the process of growing vegetable seedlings to plant in the planter boxes in the center of the courtyard, and the goal is to beautify the courtyard area while also making it productive and growing vegetables that would be donated to the community food bank. Hope Club is also holding another rock, paper, scissors tournament this year for the students. That was really fun last year. Our kinder cats have been busy. Seniors assisted their kinder buddies with planting flowers, seeds, and milk cartons, and helped them make flower flip books to show the different parts of a flower and what each part does. And then they helped start a journal to show that track the growth of the seeds. And the seedlings are already sprouting. In the month of April, they will help reinforce math and counting skills with a hands-on activity and continue with reading skills as the kinders will read stories to their senior buddies. For our sports, our spring sports season officially kicked off this past Saturday when softball got a win over WCA. And the majority of our teams are starting this week. We have new faces for coaching. 4 of the 5 spring sports have new coaches. Sam Rossetti is taking over head coach for softball, and Brian Moore is taking over baseball. Dan Dunay will be taking over the very large outdoor track team, and Miss Jepson will be taking over the tennis team. Our longtime coach, Paul O'Connor, will continue his role as a golf team, and we are looking forward to a competitive season.
So then the yearbook staff have officially completed the main book and have sent it off to print, which is marking a major milestone in our year-long project. And soon they'll be starting on the spring supplement, which highlights memorable moments which are still to come, including prom, spring events, and spring sports. Art Club artists have been busy exploring their creativity through a variety of independent projects this month. Each artist has taken the opportunity to dive into their own interests and develop their skills further using different mediums, such as throwing pottery on the wheel, shaping ceramic pieces, while others have focused on painting and drawing, bring their life on paper. bringing their ideas to life on canvas and paper, and then the dedication and passion of these students that have been creating these pieces have really shown through, and their individual styles are shining. And then Spanish Club, they were very busy in the past month. They planned the multicultural fair, which took place last Friday. We had over 20 countries being represented. The Spanish Club and many HS volunteers created the displays for the countries. The students who came in were given a blank passport, and they needed to fill it up with the various stamps from all the countries shown. We also had face painting, henna, find a country in a world globe, color a flag, and an amazing kids show. Over 150 people stopped by to celebrate the many cultures we have. And the Environmental Club, Ms. Gaz has been consulting with the representatives from Deep, Trout Unlimited, and Naugatuck High School to begin cooperative efforts in order to support local fisheries. Ideas for a day of fishing and a riparian cleanup have been discussed. And then the Naugatuck science teacher, Matthew Burke, would like Seymour students to join their annual fishing derby in an effort to create a friendly rivalry which will perpetuate in the future, all with the common ground of habitat preservation and conservation. And then environmental science students are attending the Bronx Zoo field trip tomorrow. They're going to be exposed to the conservation efforts from the Wildlife Conservative Society's flagship park. The Bronx Zoo opened on November 8, 1899, and currently serves as a springboard hub for the concentration efforts of the United States. The Debate Club, they held a Shake the Can fundraiser at Seymour Stop and Shop on April 6th, which was this Sunday. And the money raised will go towards funding their debate association dues, along with funding transport to and from the various debate tournaments. Ms. Goss and 5 high school students were able to raise $157.13. And then their end of year celebration is tentatively planned for April 24th at 6 p.m. at the Cast Iron Skillet in Seymour. Electrothon Car Club students will be racing in the annual spring race at Lime Rock Park on April 25th. And then newspaper, our April issue just came out on the 2nd, which features interviews with Mr. Freund and Mr. Lucky as the leadership exchange, and a lot more. And that's all we have.
Any questions for our student reps? All right, thanks, guys. We will do public comment, and then we'll take a quick little break if anyone wants to take pictures. So item 3, public comment. Anyone from the public like to make a comment? If you come up and just state name and address.
Jody Gerstenhaber, 8 Emma Street. I was going to come to the policy meeting that wasn't held last week. I just want to thank Dr. Compton and Mrs. Feige and Mr. O'Rourke for taking my concerns seriously about the board policy in regards to the physical education requirement at the middle school and the high school. And just wanted to share so that way you guys hear as you're making your potential revisions to the policy, my concerns and the kind of concerns that from the general consensus I've got from speaking with others is that it is not a concern with the physical education makeup. We all kind of agree that our kids should make it up, but it's the kind of unfairness, unbalance of the policy. That there's a physical requirement plus a written assignment, and there's no other writing within the physical education curriculum in the middle school at all, which seems punitive to these kids who are missing class. In addition, the fact that a child who is sick or absent for a legitimate reason, sent to another school to participate in an assembly, things like that in this class have to make it up or get a 0 grade, whereas a child who is suspended does not have to make up the class and receives an exempt. These kind of are unfair balances, and these are the things that I'm really hoping get addressed in the revision of the policy, and I appreciate that you guys are taking the time to look at the policy and review it. So that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, we hope to meet on Thursday.
All right, anyone else for public comment?
Good evening. Sorry about that. I just want the board to know that I received a letter from an anonymous person regarding some coaching going on at the high school, and I just want everybody to know that Town Hall doesn't do anything with that. That is on the Board of Ed and superintendent and the AD and hiring, and I understand what the resident's saying, I just don't want it reflected upon town hall as if we have a say in hiring, because we don't. And we assume that you guys hire the best that you think is possible, and you put who you want to put there, so I'm fine with that. And then the other thing I wanted to say is that the absentee ballots, we understand that the referendum is during spring break, and that was a lack of communication on both ends for us to look, and for the Board of Finance, and us not knowing when the schedule was. There is absentee ballots available at the town clerk's office from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and then 8 a.m. to 12 o'clock p.m. on Fridays for the voting on the budget referendum next week. That's it.
You also received, I sent you a copy, I also received a copy of that anonymous letter.
Letter as well, and each of the board members, I did scan it to you in regards, it was just an anonymous.
Okay, any other public comment?
So in my school systems, I'm currently located in Seymour Middle School. Now, not every so often there's like an incident going on in our school. People are making bad decisions in the classroom or in the hallways. I think it'll be a better idea if we could try to implement security cameras into our classrooms and hallways, try to detect these inconveniences of people's behaviors, to try to make sure that everyone's behaving, and things that do get done, make sure they get recorded so people actually know what's going on when someone says they didn't do something. Yeah.
All right, anyone else for public comment? Second call for public comment. All right, last call for public comment. Okay, public comment is closed. We'll take a few minute break and we'll come back at 10 minutes to 8.
a good evening. Anybody else staying?
Yeah. The old 55 club doesn't look like. Derek, are we good? All right, thanks. Okay, item 4, reports. I don't see Ms. Brooks here. Special ed report. Anything for you, Dr. Boyle, or any questions for any board members? All right. We had the finance meeting beforehand. Everything looks good there. Then we have the enrollment report and the school improvement plan. So I'm sure we're going to turn over Mr. Elect now and Mr. Cohn. If anybody has any questions.
They're not going to be too long. It's going to be just right.
Do our best.
Okay.
So, appreciate the opportunity to share our school improvement plan for the year, and obviously we're well underway. And turn over to the first part of Mr. Cohen.
Hi, everybody. So our 3 goals, one was related to social emotional learning, that CLS will increase the sense of belonging for students and families, including students on the edges. And then we had 2 academic goals, one to improve literacy skills, and those that are falling below will close the gap, and the same thing for mathematics. So here are some of our targets. Chronic absenteeism rate improvement from 15.5% to 10% for this current year. On survey, we are looking at 90% of kindergartners and 5th grade students will agree with this statement. I feel I belong at CLS. And also on the parent survey, 90% of CLS parents will agree with these statements. I feel I belong at CLS. My child's teacher has provided me with strategies and information regarding my child's academic progress, and my child's teacher communicates with me freely. Or frequently, not freely. We don't want that. So, goal 2 target is measured by the spring math data, and it's a percentage of K through 5 meeting or exceeding the projected growth from 66% in the spring to 70%. And then for goal 2B, which is really the 3rd goal target, as measured by spring math, as well, K through 5 exceeding their projected targets in mathematics will be 75%.
So our rationale for our reading goal is that actually last year, our target was to move from 58% of our kids hitting their growth targets to 64%, and we actually hit 66% as a school. And so, again, rationale for our social emotional goal is that we continue to have a growing number of students and families at CLS on the edges. Our multilingual population is up. Our number of students with disabilities, our number of students with free reduced meals. And so our targets need to be loftier than what we've been hitting because we just need to keep closing that achievement gap. So we're targeting 70%. For math, our target last year was to move from 64% hitting our targets the previous year to 72%, and in reality, we hit 76.1%, so more than 3/4 of our students, K through 5, hit their yearly targets.
And then, just curious, where do you feel that you ultimately, where should those targets really be?
Well, I hate to talk with idealism, but we really want every student to make a year's growth.
What's realistic?
I think we kind of realized 70, Mrs. Cunningham is also a member of our data team, we felt 76%, I mean, that's pretty high. So that's why we set our target at 75% for this year, because we didn't want to we hit it, but we didn't really, and when you shoot for 75%, that still is last year's 5th graders who did very well. They're out of the building, we have new kindergartners coming in, so it's even to hit the exact same targets, different kids hitting targets than ever have before. And actually, 83% of our K-5 students they didn't hit their target, they came within 2 points of hitting their target. So I think if we're able to continue to operate like that, and we have interventions in place, we are continuing to help the kids that aren't hitting their targets close the gap.
Didn't we used to compare this to state numbers?
For Smarter Balance, because MAP isn't a state, but
Just trying to figure out kind of a metric here.
well, if you let me bring that back towards the end when we talk about Smarter Balance, there is a connection there because the growth that our kids make on MAP connects to what we got recognized for school distinction.
It's a correlation.
Because the school distinction, the school distinction recognized in math. So this is obviously, I hate to say, but it's like off the charts. Because, sorry, it's really off the charts now. Oh my gosh. So that's definitely atypical because last year's 5th grade students as a whole class, if I remember my data right, it's like 96.8% of targeted growth achieved. That got us, when merged with the 4th grade population's Smarter Balanced growth in mathematics, combining the two, still put us in the top 10% of all schools, high, middle, and elementary. That 96.8, I go looking to see what school's higher than that.
Yeah.
And I could only find a handful of schools that had higher than that for a given grade level.
It's going in the right direction, so that's good.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Related to something.
Yes, and so, and then the other area for school of distinction, and this will speed me up later, Dr. Compton, is that for our high needs population in 4th and 5th grade for math, had such a high percentage of targeted growth achieved. So it's not just, this is all students making gains. Sure.
All right, so for this year, we had some key strategies in place. First is dealing with chronically absent students. We were going to continue to contact families of students who are below 90% attendance with phone calls, emails, mail letters, and in-person meetings. Social emotional practices such as caring school community, responsive classroom, and mega skills. During the 2024 year 24-25, we're training the staff with Ruler. Ruler is a social emotional learning metric, and it's an approach to increase emotional intelligence. With implementation starting 25-26. We're working to build stronger home school connections with families, with Instagram, Cheetah Tracks staff, and administrative involvement in community events. We celebrate diversity. This is one of our focus points. With months, we celebrate Black History Month, Women's History Month, Asian American, Hispanic Month. We just housed the Multicultural Fair and showed our support. We had a lot of CLS students attend that. And then we also have correspondent student-friendly videos shared and discussed at morning meetings. We foster school-wide community building with our CLS staff spotlights. They're a lot of fun. It's actually my favorite part of the morning, where we share on morning announcements staff's favorite song, favorite movie, place to visit. And then we increase opportunities for involvement with Career Day we just had this past week. Recess Equipment Patrol, Breakfast Buddies, CLS Student Ambassadors, which you just saw, the Beautification Club, and Book Buddies.
Just going to pinpoint a couple of the bullets here, some things that are newer this year. So this is the second year of Interreading as the K-3 reading program. And so over the summer leading in, the representation from both Bungie and CLS got together and revised the scopes and sequences, and it was a more concerted effort to use the end-of-unit module assessments, and so we feel that's going very well. That was a target, and some teachers actually made that part of their professional goals for this year. Read 180 is an intervention program that we're piloting this year at both Bungie and CLS. It is, what we haven't had over the years is intervention for students that are in the upper grades that are reading multiple years below grade level. So we have had over the past several years some students that might reach 4th or 5th grade still reading at a beginning 3rd, 2nd, or 1st grade level. This program incorporates both decoding and comprehension, and we've been able to utilize this for our students with IEPs, our multilingual, and Tier 3 students during our SRBI intervention. And based on the winter map results, we've seen some very good gains with it. And so that is something new that we both at both elementary schools find beneficial. And continuing, we have Ms. Mariano at halftime here at CLS. We've had an increase from 64 to 72 bilingual students. So continuing, and that's why we talk about focusing on the students on the edges. For math, our strategies in particular, I'd like to just focus in on both for ELA and for math. Our grade 3, 4, 5 teachers have been making use of the Smarter Balanced interim assessments to give our students definite practice aligned with the Common Core standards that they're teaching from their curriculum, as well as practice with examples that are obviously going to be well aligned with what they're expected to do come Smarter Balanced assessment time. We have 83 students that are receiving math interventions school-wide, and we continue to do a hybrid model. I went to a math workshop a couple weeks ago, and hearing what is being done. West Hartford was one of the presenting schools in the workshop I attended, and I had a nice conversation with their principal afterwards about how our intervention model is. Got some ideas from her, but she took some ideas from CLS on how we're doing it. And what we do is, in addition to these programs, but we also look to have our interventionists communicate with the classroom teachers to support the current content, because you can't close the achievement gap if all you're doing is dealing with where they are missing down at the, for foundational skills. You have to accelerate that learning by making sure everybody is receiving grade level content. Celebrations that we just like to point a few. Obviously, the School of Distinction. At the end of the slot of your packet, you'll see that we looked at the other DERG F schools, and you can see that CLS is right at the top, especially for, again, Smarter Balanced growth data, but also with the math and ELA index scores. That survey data has been very positive, as Mr. Chacon shared earlier. And then if you, what we've been noticing is some very good cohort improvement. Last year's first grade percentage meeting grid targets increased from 58% in kindergarten to 63%. In math, grade 2 increased from 54% to
58.8.
Thank you. Grade 3 math, we just really want to point that out. In grade 2, they had, the previous year in 23, had 42% hitting their written targets. It moved up to 81.8% last year. In math, went from 29% the previous year to 92%. We also had similar big gains in grade 4 and 5. And then when you look at Smarter Balance, just coming down to the bottom here, grade 5 Smarter Balance ELA last year, 64% scored a level 3 or 4. That's an increase from rounding 47% in grade 4. And if they scored 63% in math, again, from 47% proficient in grade 4. Now, that I point out is not that with the math data, we're noticing last year's math scores for grade 4 were very high for percent hitting their targets. They just hadn't reached the proficient level. So 4th grade had a very good year last year. It's just that we didn't have as many kids proficient. 5th grade, year prior, 5th grade took the baton and took them the rest of the way. So really big bump up on that. And so this is what I was referencing, the 96.8% for our grade 5 math year 2 growth achieved for all students. In the yellow, the math high needs grades 4 and 5 combined. Thought you might be interested in seeing a 3-year trend for seeing how it went from 78% in 22 to 83% in 23 to 84% in 2024. So it's not just like 1 year we're getting lucky, we're looking like we have some practices that are replicable. Physical fitness, 67.8% was a big bump up from our previous year cohort. And so thought this would be a good graph to show you about interreading. So everything here have been our school improvement goals, but this is actually our January map data for reading. And so reading's the cohort. So this year's first graders, fall to winter, 71% hit their fall to winter target. Same group as kindergartners last year, we're at 42%. Second grade this year, 65% fall to winter. Last year in grade 1, same period of time, it's 47%. And then third grade, 71%. Last year, second grade was 64%. So we look at interreading as having that impact. We look at this year's kindergarten being 54.7%. Last year's kindergarten, obviously not a cohort, but 42%. So it goes back to the summer work and improving the scope and sequence. And then just school-wide, K to 5, fall to winter, 56% compared to 62% this winter. And then last,
Has anything dropped? Gone in the other direction?
I've
seen everything's positive, I'm just wondering if anything is going the other way.
fall to winter is tricky for the upper grades, so I'm not really spending time talking about that.
I think the other metrics, if you don't know if there's anything.
The only thing that I would say is we continue to have quite the battle on chronic absenteeism. That's not where we want it to be. Our target's to be at 10%, improving from 13.9, which is improved from the previous year. But we should be, it's less than 5 years ago, we were at 95%. So, this, definitely a lot of sickness is hitting a lot of different ways this year. So it's tricky because, we're not going to win any PR when we're reaching out to parents about someone whose children are missing a lot of school. We get a lot of, well, you want us sending our children when we're sick. We try to work with our nurse, Mrs. Sanders, to also help communicate, because a child doesn't have to be feeling 100% to come to school, but obviously there's certain conditions that they have to be out of school for 24 hours if they're, significantly ill. So it's walking that fine line, but the absenteeism is not where it should be. And then last slide, just showing only Eli Whitney School in Enfield had a higher smarter balanced growth for math than CLS did for any school in our dirt. And I know you have this to kind of peruse it, but obviously the school distinction puts us with everybody in the state anyway, but within our dirt, just another data point to look at, that we're very pleased with how we're doing, and again, that's thanks to our students' efforts, staff, going above and beyond, and the support we get from the Toronto community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well done. The data analysis is extremely thorough, as you can see. He's analyzed every piece of assessment.
Can I just ask one question, Mr. Electman?
Yes.
So the smarter balance and the map. So the measure is meeting red and then percent at 3 and above. Because I see the map had huge jumps.
Right.
3, 4, and 5.
So it is each child has their own individual target. Actually, with Smarter Balance, they have their own individual target as well. That's what the year 2 is. So if the child scored proficient 3 or 4 on Smarter Balance, that's one performance level. And then for 4th or 5th grader, just speaking for CLS, when they were a third grader, they got a target set for fourth grade. When they were in fourth grade last year, they got a target set for fifth. How well did they hit that? What MAP does, sky's the limit for, if, the way I use it is, if your target is 10-point gain, if you get 8 out of 10, you get 80% growth. If you got all 10 points, 100%. If you got 12, 120%. If someone goes far beyond, let's say they score a 20-point gain, they need 200% growth. MAP is giving you all of that. Smarter Balance caps you at 110%. So when we're dealing with a whole population of 520-ish students here, you don't have any outliers that you can put in a class. You might have someone that dipped for whatever reason, had a bad day, or just took through the test or something like that. So, you can hit your RIT target. We want you to go higher than your RIT target because that means you're closing the gap.
Yeah, go ahead. Are we getting any help anymore at the state level for chronic absenteeism? Because we used to be able to go to the courts and have them involved with chronic absenteeism. And I heard that that's not as available anymore.
That is correct. I will say, we work our way through the process, but what also, we could have some teachers here that would say chronic absenteeism isn't as big a deal as, I don't know if it really is, like, coined this, but chronic tardiness. Because we have many students, we have students that are over 40 tardies for the year. And if you have math as your first block of the day, in grades 3, 4, 5 like we do, and you're arriving 20, 30 minutes late, there's some that are coming habitually greater than half an hour late. And if you're not grade 2, which starts to be with the Unified Arts, then grades 1 and K, you're missing phonics as the first part of the day. And so either you got someone who's 18 to 20 absences and then 15 or more tardies, you're missing every, I tell parents, if your child's at 20 days absent, that's a month of school your child missed. And if that's someone that's already on our radar for a concern, plus it does help you understand why we keep trying to focus in on that. And so we do work the process, and so we communicated, as Mr. Cohen said it on her slide, with families before the year even started if they were concerned last year. We, after the first 40 days, let them know where they are. If anybody's 88% or lower, and then at times we do contact DCF. And DCF the last couple of years never used to think they would do this, but they actually have intervened with tardiness on a few occasions because we've just had some incredible high totals that. So I would actually say they've been pretty good. Okay. But it's just so many, it's hard for us to keep on that as much as everything else that we do. We're done.
Thank you. All right. Okay, so moving on, item 5, consent agenda.
We need to remove E6.
I'd like to make a motion to remove.
No, you're just going to remove it.
Just gonna remove it?
Just
All right.
going to remove it. So we'll just remove item E6 to be added at a later time. So that leaves everything else. Approval minutes, hirings.
Can you repeat that, please? I didn't hear it.
E6 is being removed. E6. A food service worker for Chappie.
Okay.
All right. Anything else? If not, need a motion to.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda, removing E6 as presented.
Motion by Ed, second by Chris. Kristen. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Jay? Yes?
Yes.
What do we have here? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7 0 0.
Who seconded that?
Kristen.
Kristen.
All right, so item 6, the item removed from the consent agenda, we'll just add that at a later date to another meeting. Item 7, discussion and possible action. We have set graduation date for the class of 2025, which currently is June 11th, 2025. So we need a motion, as always, to set that date.
Make a motion to set the date of graduation for the class of 2025 to June 11th, 2025, with a rain date of June 12th, 2025.
All right, motion by Stefan. Do we have a second? All right. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor? Opposed? 7-0. Item B, set last day of school, which is currently supposed to be June 12th, so let's make it official.
Make a motion to approve to set the last day of school for the 2024-2025 school year as June 12th, 2025.
Motion by Stefan. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Bruno. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Passes 7-0. Item 7C, the early graduation request. But that didn't come up for me. I don't know if you have any. Oh, there it is.
Through the chair, point of clarification, is it the same as the one in the consent agenda? Because we already approved the one there.
Oh, is it the same way?
Yeah, that's my fault. Yeah,
Okay.
it is. But
Thanks, Jay.
So it's already been approved.
Do we have, I don't know offhand what our policies are.
We do, we just want you to approve it.
Okay, all right, so,
Sit down for Mr. Luckman and then it's in place.
okay, so our policy is to approve this, so it shouldn't have been in the consent agenda. None of us caught it, so don't feel bad, none of us
Okay.
caught it. But let's make it official here for this one. Probably, do we need them? Probably don't want to include the name.
Graduation request.
Okay, yeah, probably just as presented. If anyone wants to look at it. The link was weird. It wasn't coming up in the thing, in the drive.
I feel like I saw it when I opened it the first time, but I didn't look at it again today.
All right,
I
well,
remember reading it last.
You have to remove it from the consent agenda, though?
Yeah, we're past it, but,
Can't we just let it go? It's already been approved.
all right, I'm good.
Love it.
Let's let it go.
Policy says it's okay when we let it go.
All right. So item 7D, we have weightlifting equipment purchase from the Wildcat Kickoff Club. As with all our donations, we have to just give our stamp of approval. And then the one below, we have a donation of tennis balls, so we would need 2 separate motions. Oh, you guys are still here.
Yeah.
Are you waiting for me to say go?
No, at this point, I think I'm just sitting here.
All right.
At this point, I think we should just finish it.
Stay strong. Don't get us out here early.
All right. Anyone want to?
Make a motion to approve the weightlifting for the first, with funds by the Wildcat Kickoff Club and direct the superintendent for its delivery replacement.
All right, works for me. Motion by Jay. Do we have a second? Mr. Bahuniak, all those in, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? 7-0-0. And then we have tennis balls.
Make a motion to approve the donation of tennis balls and direct the superintendent to its placement.
Works for me.
I'll second that one.
Okay, motion by Jay, second by Kristen. Any discussion?
Policy.
All right, all those in favor? Opposed, abstained, 7-0. Item 8, we have some hirings. This is where you are. And school events, resignations, volunteers, all that stuff. It's important to point out too that the 8th grade promotion ceremony is June 11th at 10 a.m. Mr. O'Rourke, was that going to be at the high school?
No,
or?
it's actually going to be at the middle school auditorium, and
Okay.
they've been working with the fire marshal and so forth about getting it set there, so it's going to work out. They used to do it, well, you all remember, I don't know, I wasn't here, but they used to have it at the middle school in the auditorium before COVID. So they'd like to go back and get to have it there again.
All right. Any questions on the information section, especially for the assistant athletic director? Do you have any questions for her? I just told her I would poke at her a little bit. I know. All right. Item 9, Board of Ed comments and superintendent report. I wasn't gonna really have much to say. A little disappointed at the town meeting and that turnout. We're going to vote in next week on a budget that has been through the ringer and cut another $750,000. I think it's important to stress how important it is to get parents and Seymour staff to come to that. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up again is because when Mr. Elector was showing that slide right there, 2 years ago, we were in a dirt D. And now we're in a dirt F. And if anybody knows, that's directly related to your school's funding. I'll just leave it at that. So, while that's a great accomplishment, we were 2 dirts higher last year, in 2023. So that's it from me. I will go down this way.
Pass tonight.
Yeah. I was going to do the same, Mr. Simoneau.
Well, I'll echo, I was disappointed in the cut to our budget. And I think more than just the parents and staff and stuff there, I think that grandparents, and I think that citizens who value the life we have in Seymour will understand the importance of education, but it's not getting across to enough of people. And I'll stop.
Bottom 7%.
That's correct.
Say that wrong? We are in the bottom 7% of per pupil spending in the state of Connecticut.
We got a laundry list of stats we can do. We'll save those for another day. Mr. Kubik.
Nothing for me, I think it's it all.
Lori? Jay?
Nothing.
Bruno?
I would just reiterate that this school system in this community requires the residents to participate. So I would encourage everybody, again, the referendum is April 17th at the community center, and absentee ballots are available at Town Hall, at the registrar's office as of right now, and they can be picked up between 8 and 4:15 p.m. Monday through Thursday, or 8 to 12 on Friday. So you can go vote in person at the community center on the 17th, or you can vote absentee in advance. I would also like to remember I overlapped with Mrs. Sabatini a little bit at Bungay School, so I would just, share my memories of her as a teacher who cared deeply about her students and had very high expectations for all of them. She will be missed.
You make a good point about the community. The PE requirement that we had for public comment, I don't know if any of the 9 of us would really have ever picked up on that one if you don't have kids in the district. But those are examples of things where we need the public to come out and tell us what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. So, the 9 of us could sit up here and go through the motions, but unless we have the community, the parents, grandparents, everybody participating, things kind of will get stale. And I'll kind of stop. Dr. Compton, final words.
Okay, I'd just like to say that our most precious assets in this town are our students, and the quality of a school district determines whether people move into a town. it's just so important that education is the number one priority. And it's, you know, like I said, it's, I can't say it enough. You're only as good as how well you educate, because they are the future leaders. I would just like to say I attended the multicultural fair this past Friday. Our high school students, the teacher did an amazing job, and everyone that came out, there were over 100 people present. I really enjoyed it. The kids had a really good time, so it's just a good way for the communities to come together and celebrate diversity. The kids love their little passports and learning about all the other countries, and some of our students do come from some of the countries. So I want to say both of you all were there, and it was just very well attended, and thank you. I also attended the performing arts show that was done at the high school on one Friday night, stayed till the end, walked down the hall at the very last song. But they did a great job. I want to say also our sports teams for the winter, just outstanding with our boys and girls basketball teams, and that the girls made it to the Final Four there, first time since 2004. Also attended the walkathon with White and my buddies, the inclusion day, that walkathon that morning, very cold, but I was there. I also enjoyed the signing day the other day. It was like Monday at 8 o'clock, so I made it into the gym at 8:01. And it was really good to see our 4 senior girls getting softball scholarships and some other scholarships. So it was a great day, great morning. So, like I said, I'm proud of our district. I'm proud of what has been accomplished. I'm also proud of our administrators. You know, when you look and see what they've accomplished as well. Here's the assistant principal of the year for Connecticut. So I think our administrators are great at what they do, and we had Lauren Reed 2 years ago, and then back in 2017 was Ernie DeStacy for the middle school. That's just assistant principals, but I can tell you our principals lead. They lead with strength, they lead with knowledge, and I appreciate all the work, and as well as our Director of Special Services and our Director of Curriculum Instruction. They make a difference. Leadership's important.
All right, any questions for Dr. Khan? All right, anything else from anyone? All right, we'll adjourn at 8:20.